All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got another episode of Cars and Creators podcast for you. Thanks for tuning in. You definitely want to stick around for this one. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna learn some things about my guest today. So stick around. We talk about automotive creators. We talk about the mysteries. We talk about the ins and outs of what it is and what it means to be an automotive creator. So stick around if that interests you. We get to know, stories of people that we talk to, our guests here, and how they've grown. If that interests you, stick around. We have a good time. Talk about cars and what it means to be a creator in today's day and age. So let's jump right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome a very special guest to today's episode of Cars and Creators podcast. A fellow Fiesta ST enthusiast, a comedic genius, a YouTube aficionado from Carlsbad, California. Ladies and gentlemen, Griffin Blanchard.
Let's go, baby. What's the deal, boys? We are in it. I like the intro. Yeah, you did
Cool.
Didn't you? Sweet, man.
Good, I'm glad. Dude, let's chop it up. You ready for this?
I'm super down, dude. I'm super down.
This is it's exciting because, when we use this podcast, I get to kind of pick the brain of people, and kind of get their outlook. Everyone's got a different outlook. Even like you might have seen on podcast number 1 with Alexander Vargas, we kind of chopped it up a little bit. And, it's interesting to see where you relate in a lot of ways to people that are in, this field and this niche, but also where you differ, in what ways that maybe you can bounce ideas off each other, and so I'm excited to to kind of pick your brain a little bit. We've kind of talked a little bit over. I think we did that that giveaway was the first time that we kind of worked together on something. That was cool.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, it was a good time. So with the ST community, I think we can kind of I guess give a little bit of insight on what it's like to be a creator, to own those little pieces of crap, those awesome little cars. So I guess let's start off. Maybe tell us about yourself. Tell us about how you got into the creator economy, and just some background about yourself.
Yeah. So for those of you, I got an intro too, but my name's Griffin Blanchard. If you don't already know me. And I got into cars in general just a long time ago when I was 16. I actually just talked about it on my Instagram a little bit. I had a 1992 Miata, and it was amazing. I knew that I wanted a Miata because everyone said it was a good autocross car, and I liked to pretend that I was going to be able to do that. It's at 16 years old, and so I bought one, and it just kind of took off from there. But how I got into the YouTube space is it's not that weird of a story, but I had another channel and nobody knows that. I guarantee it. Nobody knows it. It's a car channel. This is one of my best friends, and I'm not going to give away the name because I feel like someday someone's going to find it and it'll be funny because the videos are all still public for the most part. And we put out like 40 videos, dude. We really
Wow.
We really did it we really did it, but you know what I mean? We tried a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was super fun. And I remember meeting a couple of people in person that subscribed at meets. And we didn't have a large following at all, by the way. It just happened to be a local person. And it was just crazy. I was like, what the hell? People actually watch us. It's just weird. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool to have some sort of influence and whatnot. But we stopped the channel because it just, work and stuff. And, I was young. I think we were 18 or 19, so pretty young, a while ago. And then I was working at a car dealership for selling cars, which is the worst job in the entire world. I hate myself for doing it. It was so bad. And so I was looking for any sort of creative outlet to just not have to think about that because I hated it so much. So picked up a camera and your boy was created. And that's how I started. And I figured reviews would be good to start because I worked at a dealership, so I could take all the cars. And we had a pretty cool used selection, I guess. And that's kind of how I got into it a little bit.
That's cool. That's a cool story. It's funny how it kind of all falls into place. You know what I mean? You don't ever really like a lot of people, like not everyone is a Mr. Beast kind of guy, where he's like, I knew from the womb that I wanted to be, the YouTube overlord, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
it's crazy.
I think a lot of people, like you and I guess, it kind of just leads down to that way. And that's funny you said that creative outlet too, because I was the same way. It's like I've always wanted to create something, whether it be like YouTube videos or like cool Instagram pictures or, whatever it is, and then, working that into with cars is kind of a cool, thing how it leads into that. The Miata, what happened to the Miata? Did you crash it or?
Blew it up at a stoplight, having a rev off with my friend, threw a rod at the stoplight, dropped all the oil. And I had just straight piped it like 2 nights before, I think. And I had all my buddies that also had we straight piped our cars all in one day. Our buddy had this little like super jank, like drive on like the front 2 tire lift. And we just backed up the cars onto it and we all just cut our mufflers off. And yeah, we were revving at a stoplight, making noise. And yeah, I was like, that was a super crazy noise my car just made. Like I just heard like it sounded like a backfire. I was like, damn, my car's never backfired in its life. That was pretty legit. And I looked to my side because I can look over the thing. Miatas are like this big. There's just oil. And I was like, hey, I was like, guys, because they can all hear me because I have the top down. So I'm like, I just threw a rod. And so, yeah, we limped it back to my buddy's house. And then the next day, it still ran, I guess. Like it had no power, but it ran. So me and my buddies thought it'd be fun to go out to the middle of nowhere, and just drive it until it fully explodes. And that's what we did. I had my buddy hop in it and just bang rev limiter in first gear for like a good mile. And like, no joke, like that thing just would not blow up all the way. It was weird. Like it just kept going. And at some point you saw this big plume of smoke and the coolant just flying, and left it on the side of a road, not knowing that wasn't legal. Like I was planning on coming to come pick it up, but I left it there for like 3 or 4 days trying to figure out like how to not have to pay to get it towed.
Yeah.
And ended up with like 3 different tickets, and my buddy just would not split it with me. Because like it's okay, it's not his car, like you know what I mean. Yeah. But I told him to try and blow it up. But it's funny because I ended up selling that car. Have you ever heard of a monster Miata? Like a V8 swapped Miata?
That sounds sick.
It is sick. It's the coolest thing. So there's a guy local to me that has like one of the biggest shops for that. He ended up buying that car when he first started. And that was like one of his first swaps.
Get out.
And he has a massive business now. And it's cool because that car got taken to someone who really cared and chopped up the chassis, threw in an LS, and like, dude, it is so cool. So I've been trying to recently reconnect with that guy because I think it'd be cool to have it back on the channel.
Dude, that local. Would be epic.
It still exists. Yeah. That's what happened in the auto. That was a fun one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
So when they do these swaps, is it like when you say monster, man, I'm thinking like off-road tires. Like, is this like or they drift kind of oriented?
Yeah, no, monster just means like it's just beefy as hell. Like
the engine.
So they extend the chassis to fit the V8, but it's a street car. It's not off-road tires. Oh. And they do everything to fit it, which it's hard to fit a V8 in that thing. The engine, space is little for it barely fits the 1.6 that was in it. So.
Yeah, wow, that must be a tight squeeze.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those things are probably the fastest 60 to 130 cars you can have. Like, I mean, they weigh like 1,500 pounds, and you put 400 wheel in them, but that's not even boosting them. So, anyways, yeah, it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's epic. I did not know that. Yeah, you got to share that story more. That's insane, dude.
I know. I haven't really told anyone about it. I've had five or six Miatas now. I'm a Miata enthusiast, no doubt.
Oh, like, 5 or 6, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I keep going back to them. It's either that or the Fiesta. 2 Fiestas, 5 or 6 Miatas.
Heck yeah. It looks like it's time for another Miata added on,
That's what I'm saying. I know. I'm trying to get a rear-wheel drive car. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
That's dope.
I want to go to events, yeah.
I was just talking to my buddy, too, about getting a drift car for next season. That would be so much fun.
That's what I would love to get into that. I think that'd be cool. I want to do hill climb events with the Fiesta. I think that'd be sick. And drift events, just because like a lot of my buddies are into that kind of stuff, and no one's ever gone to an event. But we've all been talking about it forever. I just need a car because I'm the one that's going to push them to do it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So
I hear you,
yeah,
dude. That's sick.
yeah, it's
So
fun.
with I guess with YouTube, was there something that like that pushed you into trying to make it your career slash
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It didn't start off as like anything but a way to like possibly make money in the future and like not have to hate what I do kind of
Mhm.
thing. And it still is that. That's like the baseline for sure. Cause I think that's for the most part, everyone's baseline. Everyone wants to like be full time on YouTube that does it.
Right.
So that's definitely a baseline. But um I didn't realize how much of a like creative person I am. Just, quote unquote, like
Mhm.
not to say that I'm overly creative, but if I don't get the opportunity to create something or like make a video or do a project, like I start to get really anxious and I don't even know why. And I figured out it's because I'm not able to like do anything
Mhm.
that's creative. So it became like this super important outlet for me, like to like I almost have to do it. Otherwise, like I have to figure out something else to do. And but I guess the end goal is to be able to support myself and have like this insane community, which honestly, like, right now I've got like 3,500 subs or something like that, which is not, not a lot, but the people that are in that group are
Mhm.
just unreal, dude. Like they're so engaged and they're so cool. And like, I just want to grow that now. That's like my main thing is like, I don't like the money will come at some point, maybe,
Mhm.
but like realistically, even if I think this is what Alex was talking about, even if this never really went anywhere, like to where I could support myself, I'm not going to stop. Like just growing a community and having like these dudes that are just like rock solid people for the most part. And just like, I just think that's really cool. I mean, I just can't imagine having like 80,000 of these fools. Like that'd be ridiculous. I
Yeah.
just like, I can't even imagine like the support and like yeah, I don't know. I'm really down for like the whole community aspect of it. I think it's so sick.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's something I noticed with your the way you create too. It's really personal. I think it's super cool because you can really build that. There's a name or a word for it too. Um, that relationship with your viewers. Where they
Yeah,
feel like they're your friend. I think that's really cool
yeah,
because a lot of people will create like I don't know, like I think about Donut Media, right? Like
yeah,
you feel like you're friends with the guy, but like at the same time you don't really have that connection. You can't really relate to someone that's, pumping out. Like it's almost like a TV show.
it
You know what I
is. Yeah,
mean? And I think that's the cool part about like growing that kind of personal identity too with what you're doing because you can really build that diehard fan base, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like people that'll support you with whatever you do.
yeah. And that's why I stopped doing the reviews, was because like, I don't know, dude. Like, I just don't feel like, I mean, people like the only people that are watching the reviews are the very few people that just watch it for me, which is super cool.
Hmm.
But it's really just people searching for that car. They watch it and they leave. And that's fine too, if that's the way you want to go. But
Yeah.
I just realized like it was so hit or miss and there was no community. It was just like,
Definitely.
you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna switch it up. And that's when I started just really mainly getting into like vlogging, I guess it is. I guess I vlog.
Hmm.
And that's when it started, like all of a sudden, like all the people that were there already subscribed, like they just came out of nowhere and were like all super down for it. And I was like, why didn't you guys tell me to just like do this? Or like I spent so much time doing reviews, which is totally fine. But
Yeah.
it's just funny how like, I mean, I just had to decide to give it a shot. And I was really worried about it because, it's if you post something, or at least for me, like, I don't know, like if it doesn't do well, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm just disappointed. And has nothing to do with anyone else but myself.
Mm.
So it's like stepping out into a new type of content after being so set in reviews. I was like, like I really hope this doesn't suck, because if it does suck, I'm stuck doing reviews. Like that's going to be my thing, I guess. And it ended up being great. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, I think that's a really important topic to talk about too, in just the creator aspect of it. Because if you get into that rut, I guess of something that like you kind of enjoy, but like it's not what you really want to, push for,
Yeah.
it can kind of, I guess, backfire on you from what you originally planned. You know what I mean? Like you want to go to this because you want to create and you want to show people, something that you enjoy. And if they resonate with that, that's awesome. But I think it's really cool that you realized that and you kind of, you took that change, or that information, and you allowed it, and you changed, your, I guess, format, because that's so true. I think with the reviews and it's funny too, because it almost seems like that's the route, right? Like, I don't know about you, but like that seems like what everyone was doing. The automotive creators were reviewing cars, but I mean, you could tell you weren't doing it just because you wanted to start it. Like, you were connecting. Like, I remember watching the Supra one,
Oh yeah, dude.
with that red Supra.
Yeah.
And that, like, you hanging out with that dude, having a good time, and getting a ride in that car is just like, that's super dope, and in itself.
What's funny is that, so I'll give you a quick story because it's super relevant. So that guy is actually one of my clients now, and I ride in that thing like weekly, and I drive it all the time, and it's the coolest thing. And I met him because I reached out to him at a meet. I just saw him sitting there and I was like, yo, is that your Supra? And he's like, yeah, bro. Ended up being a super cool dude, and like immediately agreed to give me a ride along, and gave me a ride along that day that you saw. And then the next week I asked him just to go to lunch, just to hang out, because I thought he was a super cool dude. He owns his own business, and like I wanted advice and like just to like connect with him and just to, I don't know, pick his brain just a little bit without being too weird about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up working out a deal like that same day, which is what I do for work now. I film and edit and consult for a bunch of different channels.
Cool.
And like he was one of my first guys. And so, yeah, that's funny that you watched that video, because that's like, that dude, like he's so cool, dude. That guy's awesome.
That's sick. It just goes to show the relationship building aspect, of being a creator. You never know where it's gonna lead. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you really don't ever know. It's insane.
So with the like, when you say clients and whatnot, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what is that, a new thing that you've been doing, or?
It's been about, I want to say like 7 or 8 months now. And as soon as I quit that dealership job just because I felt like a piece of trash doing it. And like, it's funny because I almost got fired over telling people that they're getting scammed. Like, no joke.
Wow.
Like, there was a couple of times where I was like, look, like, you don't need to do this. Like, people didn't understand like what rate is and how to figure out math, really. Like, I was just like, yo, look, you can't do this to yourself, please. So I got in trouble for that a couple times. So anyway, I left. And I joined this little rinky-dink job at a timeshare exit company, helping people get out of timeshares. I just hated my life almost even more at that point. I was just like, dude, what am I doing? So I was, I would always film at work because it was a pretty laid back job for the most part, but I would bring my camera in, and when the boss would leave, I would take videos of myself in the office. And there's a couple of vlogs where I'm sitting in the office with my feet up on the desk and making jokes, nothing disrespectful to the guy, in my own office, but I'm pretty sure they saw the videos and just like were like there was no disrespect, there was no like hard feelings about it. He's like, look, you're clearly wanting to do something else. I'm looking for something long term. I was like, hey, I respect it, like it's okay. Cool. I get it. So we parted ways totally on good terms. I still talk to the guy. He's a super cool dude.
Nice.
But after that, I was like, all right, so obviously I can't work for anyone else because it's so obvious that I have other plans in the future, whether they're working now or not. I still have those plans and I'm not going to stop working on them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, let's try and figure something out. So I ended up meeting a couple people through calls and just through going to meets and networking and doing as much as I could to like just talk to people. And now I have 4 clients, 2 of them that are public that actually release videos on a weekly basis, and then 2 more clients that I'm creating a backlog for right now. So like 90% of my time is spent on other channels, which is super ironic because like, God, I would love to put that time into my channel, but I have to make money to live. And so yeah, that's what I do. I consult and I film and I edit for 4 different channels, and it's a lot of work. Like, I edit at least a video a day, and they're 10 to 20 minutes long.
Wow.
It's just like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't know how I'm doing it. It's cool that I'm getting really good at editing, but like, oh my God, it is work, but it's cool because I'm on my own. So I'm fully self-employed. I don't make a crazy amount of money at all. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm able to support myself through that. And it gives me more time to work on my channel, even though I'm still 90% that, like that 10% that I have for my channel would not exist without me doing that 90%. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
super important that I keep that. And that's what I do. All of them are correlated. Yeah, I
Oh,
kept it.
nice.
I was
That's cool.
very specific in what I wanted to do because I knew if it wasn't correlated, I'd get over it. And so
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, like I said, that Supra, and then he's got an E30 M3 with a V8 swap. He's got 1,000 horsepower E30 as well. And then the other guys that are public, they've got a multitude of cars. And
Wow.
I go to we go to Chuck Walla, which is out in California, a track. We go there like once a month, and I get to go and drive, and it's crazy. It's really cool.
That
I
sounds
feel
like a lot of
I'm
fun.
like super lucky. Like honestly, like I can't believe I figured it out for now.
Yeah, that sounds really. Yeah, I've seen those guys, the Garage Collective. I think
Yeah,
they're on Instagram, right? They have some sick cars.
they
Yeah,
do. Yeah, they
that's
just bought a
dope.
big. Yeah, they're awesome. They're really cool people.
That's really dope.
Yeah, man.
So with that, is there a plan to eventually get yourself to, being able to, I guess, run your channel? Like, is your plan, like, I guess let's talk maybe plans for next year with your channel. Do you have goals? Do you have, mile markers that you want to hit, kind of?
Yeah, 100%. I mean the goal for I started off kind of with a skewed mindset for the most part. Like I was telling my buddy at work, who's another dude that's super into cars. I was like, dude, I bet I could get 10K in 3 months, like subscribers. I had no idea. I was just like, thinking I could do it really quick and stuff, and whatever.
Yeah.
But because that's kind of how it was when I with my last channel. Like you were able to. It was years ago. No one was doing it.
Yeah.
You were able to gain stuff so fast. So I was like
Mhm.
convinced it was the same way. It's definitely not.
Mm.
But 10K is the first real marker that I want to hit that has any sort of significance to me. Like there's still like 5K is cool and all that, 7.5, whatever. But they're just increments to the real goal of 10K. Because I feel like once you have, and I was talking this about one of my best friends the other day. I hate being that guy that's like obsessed with numbers because I don't care about the clout. It's really not about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about the fact that there's a community that is able to be built. It's a business, really.
Mm-hmm.
And like, unfortunately, business in this industry has a lot to do with subscribers and followers. So like, I don't know. I hate coming off as like this follower obsessed dude or whatever. And I'm definitely not, but like
Right.
it's required to build the business. So 10K is my goal. And I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy where I'm at right now. I've learned that it's hard to get to where I'm at so quickly, quote unquote. I guess there's, people that would say that it was quick when it's really been a year. So I wouldn't say so, but I guess that other people struggle. And yeah, 10K for I want to hit 10K as soon as I can. I don't really have like a goal set for it because there's no telling. And you know how it is. Like I could wake up tomorrow morning and there could be a video that all of a sudden has 300,000 views out of nowhere. Like, and it's just, there's my 10K all of a sudden. So yeah, it's just as soon as possible. It's hard to plan for YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is, but at the same time, I think once you kind of figure out what does good for you and you can perfect that, I think that goes a long way. Maybe if I could give you that tip, find out what you really enjoy and that what does good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I talked about this a little bit with Alex. I don't know if that was before or after the podcast, but I think it's important to share that too. There's content that you really want to make, and then there's content that does good, that will grow your page or your channel. Because like you said too, I think there's a fine balance between those numbers and looking at them on like a clout based level, opposed to like that number means that I can create and do what I love with a supportive group behind me.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way. Like any artist, any creator will have that same mindset. It's way less about the number of people, but if you do have that high number of people and that following, like you said, that kind of, surrounds the idea of being a creator now, is like, oh, I need to have, this amount of subscribers or followers.
Yeah.
But it really gets down to, what does that mean for you? Like you said, that 10K number that is just going to be, I guess, even like social proof for yourself too, like I can do this. And it's like, it makes
Exactly.
you get proud of yourself, because here's something that I've set a goal, of mine, and I hit that. And like, that is something that for me is a big motivator, is just proving to myself, like,
Yeah.
that I can set my mind on something and make it happen. Um, and I think there's a line there, between saying, like you said, I don't think there's anything wrong with having these goals, because without goals, you know what I mean? How are you going to work towards
Exactly. Where are you gonna go?
anything? Yeah. And I think if you're in the YouTube space, you're not in the YouTube to just waste your time. You know what I mean?
Of course
To
not.
waste
No.
your time. Yeah. You enjoy making the videos, but it definitely is definitely, that motivating factor of, this can be my job and I can enjoy it. Another question I have for you. From what you've learned so far, right? You said it's been like a year since you started creating
Yeah,
on
just over a
YouTube.
year.
Cool. Is there any tips that you could share for someone watching that, wants to be an automotive creator on YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is? I guess maybe we can focus on YouTube, or whatever you want to share. Any tips that you've learned, along the way to where you're at now?
Yeah, sure. I first of all, I'll start by, I don't know if I'm one to be able to give tips based off where I am at currently, but I feel like for me, I have a set of things that I have that I go by now, that I think could definitely be applied to people that are just starting. Like, I've had a couple subscribers reach out and that are wanting to start their own channels, and I've helped them a little bit. So I'll tell you what I tell them. Um, like, your content is most likely going to change over time, whether it's the style of vlogging that you do, or whether for me, like, started with reviews, ended up doing vlogging. So there's no reason to not like just start and do it, because I don't know any creator that started how they finished, ever, ever in the history of anything. Like, it's going to change over time. So when people have that excuse, not an excuse, but just almost the fear of putting something out there because they feel like it's not going to be perfect, and whatever, it's not going to be perfect. That's 100% true, and there's no problem with that. No. So I would say that your content's going to change over time, so don't get too caught up in trying to figure out what you want to do. Try and focus on a niche at the least, and stick with that niche, and your content will change within that niche. And then in terms of like, let me think here. In terms of like the work that it requires, and this is something Alex touched on as well, so I'm not going to touch on it for too long, but it's a lot more than you think. And if you're going to really go for it and try and be full-time, it's literally a full-time job, even when you're not making any money. Like, you really have to dig it. Like, you have to love it. And I'm also going to take this from Alex, because I loved this quote that he said. It's what did he say? It was the God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Whoever can hold their breath the longest is the one who ends up, winning, quote unquote, whatever. And that's definitely true for YouTube. You're gonna get maybe discouraged in the beginning. I know I for sure was, just because I came in with that mindset that I told you about, that was like, I get 10K in 3 months, dude, like, for sure. And it's a longer process than that. And you have to be prepared for the long journey, and it's going to be definitely like a ton of ups and a ton of downs, and the downs are super low and the ups are really high. So it's kind of weird, because there's really no middle ground. Like, either I'm up or I'm down, you know what I mean? And it's really tough going from up to down. So you have to be prepared for that, especially if you're truly invested in it. That is something that is going to happen to you, and it's going to mess with you. Maybe for me, it does. Like, it messes with me. Like, I take it so seriously. So if you're on that level of seriousness, be prepared for that. And then I wanted to give one more thing. Try not to focus on the views, I would say, because the views aren't necessarily relevant. Focus on the engagement from who you have already. So like, that's why I switched to vlogging, because like, yeah, the engagement from my subscribers is so much higher, which in turn helps YouTube promote it, you know? And I think people forget that it's, you have to make content for your audience. For the, I mean, you, of course, there's searchable content that you want to make, and what stuff that'll pop up on browse. But for the most part, the stuff that pops is the stuff that does really well with your audience, because that's YouTube's first measurement of whether the video is going to do well or not. They look at how your audience responds to it. That is the first determining factor. It goes through, I'm pretty sure it goes through algorithm pools, which is the same thing as TikTok. They promote it to your audience likes it, they promote it to another audience. If there's a certain percentage like that, they go bigger and bigger and bigger until it fizzles out. So yeah, that might have been a little bit a lot, but
No, it's perfect.
a few like things that I think are important to know, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, with those tips and whatnot and those tricks and things that you learn along the way, I think it's important to also not only focus on those views, but I guess, being able to realize what you want to create, you know what I mean? And then those views will kind of come from there. And if they don't, being able to switch that up, like you said, you figure out what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
And then, YouTube's algorithm will kind of give you enough analytics to figure out, where you need to go from there, and kind of looking at it when you are kind of going through analytics as a business, and figuring out what is going wrong. Any business that's failing is not going to let it keep failing. That would be stupidity. So finding what you need to change, what you need to fix, what you need to adjust, I think that's a really important aspect of it too.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
But let's talk about monetization now. It's always a mysterious, and that's why those videos do so good on YouTube, where people say like, how much does a small creator make? How much does a large creator make? And the answer is it varies. There is no answer.
Super different between niches, especially.
It is. And I think the automotive niche is plenty good enough to support, look at all these, these YouTubers now that have, these large followings. They have these cars because, they've been able to monetize from YouTube and then turn that into whatever, a business, clothing, whatever it might be. How has monetization been for you? Has it been generous? Has it been like, nothing? Like,
yeah, 100%. It's actually funny because, so you said you've watched a couple of my reviews. I don't know if you watched this one. It's the most popular video on my channel. It's not a cord video.
The Honda. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. So first of all, don't watch it. Video's trash. I don't even like the video. Now I look back at it, I'm like, God, that was really bad. But right when I hit 1,000 subscribers, for whatever reason, that video just absolutely sent to the moon. Like that video was at like 600 views or something like that, which is, for my channel, was pretty good. At that time, I was like stoked on that.
Yeah.
And I woke up and all of a sudden it was like 10,000 views the last 48 hours. And I was like, what?
Wild.
Like, what the hell? Because I had just switched to vlogging at that point. And I was like, oh, like, no, like, it's really cool. But I'm like, that's the wrong video. And so that video has currently, like, I think I just looked at it, it was like 340,000 views, which is like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's
just
huge. Crazy, right? That 346,000 people have clicked that just blows my mind. I can't believe it. But so in terms of monetization, just on that video alone, I think I made like $1,800, which I have no idea.
Massive.
It's pretty. I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. But I was pretty stoked on that. And so per month right now, what I make is around $200 to $500. It just depends on the month, because like that video still goes like, I mean, actually recently just dropped off severely, but the past couple months, that video still gains like 20 to 30,000 views a month. And so that was like a good piggyback for my channel for like money, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the CPM on that video, and this is getting really technical, for those of you guys that don't know what CPM is, it's how much you get paid essentially per 1,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
And it went from $10 to like 85 cents or something over this period of time, which makes total sense because it's an older video. People aren't willing to pay as much to put ads on. It makes it,
Mhm.
is what it is. But the CPM for my channel itself, my overall CPM, like what gets in my pocket per 1,000 views, is $9, which I feel like that's really high.
That is pretty good.
Like, I know that the automotive niche ranks pretty high in terms of like, the top paid,
Mhm.
which is great for us because that's just what we love to do, and that's fantastic. It would be unfortunate to be in something like beauty where
Mm.
there's just, they're at the bottom, which sucks. But yeah, monetization has been cool, but it doesn't really, like, I can understand how it would be so ridiculous to try and rely on, AdSense for an income.
Mm.
Like, it's just so up and down. Like,
It's unreliable. Yeah.
it's so unreliable. It's cool because our niche generally, for the most part, is a pretty good niche to make money in terms of like, other niches. It's one of the better ones, but yeah, you just can't predict like what's going to happen. That's why I said like $200 to $500. Like, that's a massive change. Like,
Mhm.
that's a lot. Imagine that on a bigger scale. It could be $5,000 to $30,000. Like, it really just depends on the month. So there's obviously a baseline that you have for the most part, what's average for your channel, but
Mhm.
monetization has definitely been interesting. It's definitely led me to understand that there needs to be multiple sources of revenue, which I have been working on the side. I haven't put anything out yet because I'm taking my time, and it's not, again, the money is, I don't really care.
Mhm.
It's like, it is what it is. So I'm trying to perfect that, but that's why yeah, you definitely don't want to rely on AdSense, but it's a good supplement.
Yeah. No. I'm. Thanks for sharing that. Those in-depth numbers, because that's definitely a question that a lot of people have. Is like, can this work? You know what I mean? Can this? And honestly, dude, that's a lot more than I was expecting for
Same. Yeah, I was
for your
confused.
subscriber count. That's awesome. That
It's ridiculous.
Think about this as a side hustle, right?
Yeah.
If on a good month, and like you said, $500 coming in on the side from creating videos, doing what you love, working with cars and whatnot. What other side hustle can you do that's on that same caliber? You know what I mean? Like,
None.
that's
Zero.
that's
There's
sweet.
nothing. It's awesome, dude.
And
It's
and in a
super cool.
year to build that up, the cool thing about YouTube is, like everyone always knows, it's compounding.
Hmm.
So no doubt next year you'll hit 10K. As it keeps snowballing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, dude, if you keep grinding the way you're doing it, and figuring out what you like to do and what's working for you, and marketing it in a way that will continue to bring you subs and views and whatnot, you'll definitely hit that number. And consistency, dude. You just stay consistent. It's huge.
Yeah.
I've gone through. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I had not missed posting for more than a week ever up until I got the vid. I don't know if it's even okay to say that. I don't know when I'm like ban or whatever. The vid.
Yeah.
And then I had to go down for 2 weeks. And then my dad passed away. So I was down for another like week and a half.
Mm.
But I was so determined to just not miss a week. And I actually did it. And I think that is like super huge. I would love to post 3 times a week. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if I didn't have my job, I could do that.
Mhm.
But it's like, yeah, that was super important to me. And I'm pretty proud that I actually figured out a way to do that, especially like asking people to review their cars with no subs. You know what I mean? To have these people give me their cars. I was like really proud on the fact that I figured out a way to get people to do that. Cause like, some of these cars that I've driven, like that Datsun that I drove, I don't know if you watched that one, but
I think I did see that. So
that
sick.
thing, dude, okay. For those of you who don't know, a 60 to 130 in a Lamborghini Huracan, which as a car, everybody knows, that's why I'm using it as an example, is like 8.2 seconds. This car's 60 to 130 is 5.6. It's not even close.
That's terrifying.
It's literally bus lengths of gap. Like, it's Gapplebee's times 25. Might as well go to Arby's at this point. Grab a piece of meat, baby. Because you're getting gapped and you're getting smoked. But
That's
just, like,
ridiculous.
it's crazy that I was able to, like,
5 seconds.
I know. but just the fact that I was able to get these people to trust me and to let me take their cars, which I don't know, like if I was an older dude and I came up to me, I'd be like, hell no,
Yeah.
no. Like, so that's something I definitely pride myself on, that I was able to do that. And I still post once a week now that I'm not sick, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I don't even know how I got into talking about that, but yeah, I was pretty happy about that. I don't know where we
Yeah.
were.
No,
Yeah.
consistency. We're talking about consistency, you
Yeah.
know, and that's really key. Um, it's something that I've definitely tried to keep up on, you know, but like you said, you know, we're human, we're normal, and you know, things come up.
I mean, I
Um,
think your videos are a lot more work than mine. Like, you fully build a car and put a video. There's no way you can't do that once a week.
it's
Like,
yeah,
there's no way. Like, I can't. There's no way. Like, you can't build a car and then edit the whole thing, and then, it's just
yeah, it's
unreal. But the cool thing about your stuff is that when you post it, for the most part, it does like really well. Because you like, yeah, like you were talking about, you kind of figured out what it is that does well on your channel. And it's really, like, I know for a fact that when you release that Honda video, it might stay slow for the beginning, but
mhm.
it's one of those that's just gonna go like this.
Yeah.
And by the way, for those of you that don't know, I saw it already. I got the sneak peek and it looks fantastic. By this time, I think they've probably seen it. No, maybe they
No,
have.
um, actually, maybe, yeah.
When might have seen it.
I think they will have, yeah. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. That's
Definitely go check that out, because I got a sneak peek. The video's not even done. I haven't seen it, but dude, the car looks fantastic from what it came from. It's ridiculous.
thanks, bro. Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, so
one of my most I think favorite video to date that I've worked on. I'm excited to drop that.
I think it's the cleanest. I mean, your build is clean, your Fiesta, but I think it's the
Thanks.
cleanest build you've done for a subscriber or for someone else beside yourself. Definitely looks the cleanest. The wheels, I don't even know if it's paint. Is it paint? I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about it. Whatever it is, it looks good. It's like,
Thanks.
it's really well done. It's something I would see in the street. I'd be like, that guy actually like cares.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome on a budget, especially, which, go figure, baby, simple builds.
Yeah, that's it. 100%, dude. Speaking of that, what's the build plans on the Fiesta? It's come a long way, dude. It's come a long way.
Yeah, there was a point where I just did, like, I bought a lot of stuff in 1 week, and I just been sitting on it, and I did a lot. So right now, for those of you that don't know, it's full bolt on, and I just put a hybrid turbo on it from Whoosh, and I just got my E80 E32, and I keep saying E85, which I guess is like shunned
Same
upon.
difference.
Is what it is, right? But I got an E32, and it's crazy. It's a great build. But the plans for the Fiesta are, like I said, I want to start doing hill climb events, and I just decided that like a week ago, and I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen and what I need to do to even enter into these events, like what I need to do to pass tech, because that's a huge deal. But so I have single port auxiliary fuel sitting in that corner right there. I have not installed that yet. I'm waiting to get finished on my ethanol tune, and then that'll go on. And at the end of it, I should be making like 340 wheel, I guess, is what they say, which is just unreal.
That's scary.
Because my Fiesta's gutted. For those of you, it's a full on. I mean, I just don't care. I'm tearing the thing apart.
Heck yeah, dude.
So future plans, yeah, hill climb that thing. I don't know if I'm gonna do much more in terms of like the motor, because it's kind of, I don't think you can do much more without having to build it. And I definitely don't want to build the motor, because I've heard that's just makes it 10 times as unreliable, because no one can figure out how to do it yet, apparently. Yeah, that thing's going to be seeing the track a lot. Like, that car is going to the track, and the whatever rear wheel drive build that I end up doing is going to be also seeing the track, but not as aggressive as that, because that thing at this point, like, I love daily driving it, but I know there's a ton of people that would not want to get into a gutted Fiesta and just hear rocks like hitting the
Yeah.
subframe, like, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
future plans, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's much more I can do. I want to get coilovers and aesthetic stuff, but the motor is kind of done.
That's
for the most
sweet.
part.
Yeah, that's a solid build. I mean, it's funny with the Fiestas, you really can you can kind of max them out pretty easily, I'd say.
It's not too it's not expensive compared to other things that
Yeah.
it would be to get to this point. Like, yeah, it's still expensive. Don't get me wrong. I think I've probably put like 5 or 6 grand into it at this point. And most of my parts I bought used. So if you bought them new, you could be way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But for that amount of money to gain this much power and like potential is just like, I mean, it's unmatched. That's why I love this thing so much. That's why I rave about these things, dude. Like, it's just crazy, the potential. Like, I lined up with a Golf R today, or no, sorry, yesterday. And he's like, "You trying to run it?" And I was like, "I mean, I guess." He's like, "What's done to it?" And I was like, "Stock." Like, I was just joking with him. Just playing. I'm sure he knew it wasn't, but I was just playing with him. And we lined up for a 50 roll in Mexico because I live right there.
Right.
And I mean, it wasn't even close, dude.
Really?
Not even close. Because they make 315 horsepower stock, and they weigh like 3,400 pounds. I make 300 wheel horsepower, and I weigh 2,500 pounds.
That's insane.
I mean, it was a joke. It was a joke. He's like, "What the hell?" Like, he was excited.
Yeah,
I think that's why I like these cars. They literally make people excited. They're like, "What the like? Seriously? Like, how did that?" Yeah, they're not even mad. They're just like, "What's going on?" I don't know. I think these things are awesome. I absolutely love these things.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's so true. They don't even get mad at, they're just like impressed at that point.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool to see someone build up something that shouldn't be that fast to being fast. Like, it's always respectable. It's different if a ZR1 smokes you. It's like, like, cool. Like, well, no crap. Of course it did.
Dude, people love sleepers. Not that they are very much sleepers, but it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, I want to go to some roll racing events and it maybe just to play around, because I think the title to that would be funny. 4-cylinder destroys V8s, just something really, really basic that might pop off or something like that. But I think that'd be so fun.
Just
to see how it does. Just to see how it does. It'd be fun. I mean, you're making 300 wheel, I think, right? Somewhere around there.
Once I get, dude, it's been a process with the Dizzy, with the Dizzy tuning. It's been. So I just sent him my last one. I think he's going to send me another revision, hopefully this coming week, and then we'll hopefully be somewhere finally around 300. He had to lower it down because I think there was a problem with like my timing or something like that.
I had the same thing on 91. Yeah, I had to pull it back a bit.
So hopefully next week, I guess we'll see. Next week it'll be a whole different car. I'm hoping.
Yes, it should be, dude. I mean, ethanol changes these cars. It's cool.
Yeah, it does. Well, dude, I think we chopped it up. We talked about a lot. We covered a bunch of different topics. Any other last minute thoughts, notes, points?
Last minute thoughts. Yeah, I guess to the people that are watching that are considering starting a channel, because I feel like that's definitely the people that might be watching this. Just send it and do it. I don't care if you have a damn iPhone. Okay. I get a lot of people messaging me. They have iPhones and they don't have a camera. Your iPhone camera, no joke, is better than my camera. Like, I promise you, it is okay if you have an iPhone. So just start the channel, pick a niche. That's step one, and just see what happens. It's a progression. It is not a direct line. It is this everywhere. If you don't start, you're not going to do this. You're just going to go that way. So that's what I would say to the people that are watching, is I feel like those are the people that might be watching and that are interested in that kind of information. So yeah. Also, shout out to the boys, dude. Shout out to all my boys that came over and watched this podcast, because I am going to promote this on my channel 100%. Like,
heck yeah.
Shout out to all of you guys. You guys mean literally the world to me. Like, I'm pretty open about that, especially on my Instagram, which I just created, which is hilarious. These guys are so funny on here.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, dude, shout out to this guy. Simple Bills, baby. This guy puts in the work. You have no idea. This guy works and works and works, and he absolutely kills it. And he deserves every single bit of everything he's got so far. And dude, I can't wait to see literally what happens in the next year for you. You're on such a good path, dude. It's super exciting to watch. I
appreciate it. Of course. It means a lot. Well, all your links will be in the description. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. It's been an honor. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other, come 2022. We're going to take over the Fiesta community. And Yeah, thanks again, dude. Once again, Griffin's links will all be in the description below. So be sure to go follow him. You're missing out if you didn't. He just created an Instagram specifically for his YouTube channel. So go follow that. Run this guy's numbers up. He deserves it. He's a diehard, ST fan and YouTube connoisseur. So hit him up. Once again, bro, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming on. It's been a blast.